Thank you.
Yeah.
Does it work? Okay. So the topic of my presentation is the cities as our sustainable future. And let me tell you why. Because I'm sorry, but the battery seems okay. The cities are the future of mankind. It sounds almost science fiction, but the idea and the form of the cities that we create will determine our future. So what future do we want? Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so in 2007, there was like a breaking line between the number of people who lived in the cities and who lived in the rural areas. Right now, the 56% of the world lives in urban areas, and in just 25 years, it will be 68%. So the physical shape of the cities will define the living experience of most of the people who will live on this world. As the MC said, I work for the Prague Institute of Planning and Development. I'm an architect. I take care of the public space. And so just for a quick icebreaker, show of hands. So please raise your hand if you have rode a car today. Okay, thank you. Keep that hand up. Show your hand if you rode a bike today. Okay. If you took public transport today, it's better. Okay, and if you walked today, there should be all of you, yes. Wonderful. So walking is our natural mode of transport, our natural mode of getting around. So maybe we should design and create our cities for us humans. This is just a quick overview of how we in the Prague Institute of Development try to make the city, in our case the city of Prague, a better place to live. What is public space? We have many types. The oldest one is the spontaneous, the organic, the old town with crooked, narrow streets, big squares defining places where people meet, where people trade, where they live. Then in the 19th and 20th century, we moved to blocks. We create most of the city with these blocks. We also experimented with garden city. We have many of garden city, like garden city structures in Prague. A lot of greenery, a lot of open spaces. Then in the second half of 20th century, the urbanist came with the planned city, the modernist one, where you segregate each function, a place to live, a place to work, a place to have fun, into different areas. And then we have the worst of them, it's the suburban. Because this is the type of city which has no benefits at all. You only live there, but you don't have the living experience of your life in the block city. You also don't have the experience of living in the historical city, and you don't have the open green spaces of the modernist city. This creates structures like these with infrastructure and streets mostly focused on cars. Our society is car dependent. It's like a drug, like a sugar that we need to function. You have seen this image, I suppose, many times. This just describes if you have 200 people, how many places they take up. If you put them in a bus, if you put them into separate personal cars, that's a big difference. Here you can see how throughout the years we've changed the size of the carriages to cars and then to our modern SUVs. but the streets are still the same. We have still the same width that we need to operate in. We need to put the pavements, the street, the trees, everything in this space. This is a close-up of center of Prague. This is the Charles Bridge over there, over the water. And this bridge can transform 100,000 people per hour or something, per unit. But if we want to do the same with cars, we put a highway there. And as you can see, the need for space for this highway infrastructure is much bigger, and also the impact into the city is much more pronunciated here. So we have public space, but we have cars. We have to park the cars. The cars, most of the time, they are just idly sitting by. 90% of the time, the car is just parked. So we kind of created, we changed our public space into parking space. This is just it's a really new thing. It's in Hradec Králové. It's a different city in Czech Republic, and they have a big problem with cars. This is a square in the middle of the city, and they call it the big parking place. The locals call it that way. And some artists put a wooden platform around a fountain, so you can climb up and look around and see the potential that the place could give us. In Prague, we have many of those parking spaces. This is Malostranské náměstí as well, Malostranské náměstí, the lower half. But here we managed to get rid of the cars, and suddenly the life can happen there. It's, for me as an architect who goes to these conferences, these images, it's kind of banal almost, like absurd to. But I suppose like this is a crypto conference, but we still have to live in the real world. So yeah. Here it is. Then we have this Wenceslav Square. It's already been remodeled into this public space. So we take slowly back what is ours from the cars that we gave them in the 20th century. This is just a quote. Yeah, if the rich use the public transport, it means that the quality of the public transport is good enough for everyone, for every class of people to be comfortable with using it. And that's kind of one of our goals that we are trying to achieve. So interests. In a city, in a public space, we have to deal with loads and loads of interests. We have to deal with the human scale, the quality of movement. We have to take care of everyone's need to provide universal design, so we are able to access places with a pram or on a wheelchair, or if your leg is broken, that's what you need to put together to create a space. But sometimes those interests are conflicting with each other. So for example, we create safety by putting rails to protect us from the cars. So the cars won't park on the pavement, but maybe in reality it's to protect the cars from the pedestrians who know. And this is like this is our Czech Prague very own Titanic moment. You can go there with your loved one and do the thing, I suppose. Also safety. You can go up and you can go down. These type of things create kind of hostile, not really good environment when the people who are not in the cars have to take care of the people who are in the cars and give them preference, and that's not right. This is how you put some sound wall into a city to make it better for the people who live in the yellow house, so they can have like almost a normal, quiet life. Or maybe you can just reduce the traffic on the street, who knows. Some things are temporal and some things are permanent, but sometimes the temporal can slowly morph into permanent, like this one in náměstí Bratří Synků. Yeah, we just put stuff together. This is a nice, quiet street next to the Prague Castle, and it's fine, right? But you can put a lot of things over there. But is it better? Is it necessary? In our everyday job, we try to make the place the best with the minimum use of like hard infrastructure. Just software is better. And this is a quote by Jane Jacobs, because if we create the cities for everybody, it creates a better society. Our strategies, our office or our institute creates loads of manuals and booklets and books and presentations. And that's the easy part. The hard part is actually to implement them. So in this last part, I will just brief you on our design principles, what do we use, and what we are implementing to get to that aim, to the city that is livable and friendly and for everyone. So sidewalks, just make them wider. Why? Because then somebody can put up a table over there from a cafe or park a bike there, and life just flows there. If you have a crossing of two streets, you can enlarge the corners, so the distance the pedestrian, the people need to take to cross the street, is lowered, and also the angle, the radius for the car is smaller, so they have to be much more slower. How does it look like in practice? This is Charles Square. It used to look like this, and we've remodeled it into this. Sorry, this. Yeah. So you put it into one level. You enlarge the corners. You also put these little pillars, the black one. It's a really important feature of our city life here in Prague, because if you put it there, it means a car can't park there. And because the car will park literally everywhere if you allow it, so you need to protect yourself from the car. I hope that in my lifetime, or just 10 years, something like that, we'll get to a point as a society when we won't need those black things, maybe. Then we have to take care of the public transport to make the stations and stops accessible, to make them safe to use. Yes, and bike-friendly city. Prague is not really a bike-friendly city. We are trying to be, but it is hard because in Prague there is this really car-oriented mentality, and since, as I said before, we have the limited width of the street. If you want to put something bike-friendly, like this separated bike lane on Smetanovo nábřeží, it usually means you have to take something from the cars, either the parking, which is a heresy, or the lanes, the lanes, which is also kind of heresy. So this is what we struggle with, but we are very slowly trying to make it better. And parking. On the left image, on the sketch, you can see it's called perpendicular parking, and it takes more space. It's also more efficient. That's why it's used more often, because you can park more cars there. Whereas the image on the right, the parallel parking, means that the cars are only 2 meters and 2 meters wide. And then you can have bigger sidewalk, maybe you can put some trees in it. And also when you are walking the street, the sensation of being in the street is much more hospitable, because the cars suddenly no longer create those never-ending barriers. We can use grass for parking. And my office deals really a lot with materials. either with the street furniture. Prague as a city, we have, I think it's 5 years now, our own set of bins, benches, bicycle stands, tram stops, everything, and then goes the material of the pavement. So you have stone, you have concrete, you have asphalt. We are currently trying to implement this idea that when you have a sidewalk, you will always use something, some kind of tiling, because under the sidewalks there are many waterways and internet wires and stuff like that, and like almost every half of a year somebody will just go there and make some change. And if you make it from a surface that's like asphalt, like one sheet of asphalt, then when you dig in, you leave those marks, and yeah, with the tiles you don't have to do that. Yeah, in Prague we have many things that serves the city, such as those crates that are electrical crates for the road lights, for the trams. This is how the see the pillars, they are for the trams, for the wires that bring the electricity to the tram. But maybe if you can just put them slightly to the right, and maybe even if you can put street lamps on the same pillars as the electricity for the trams, it's better. Yeah, and the last point is the green infrastructure, the blue and green, how do we call it? And that's becoming more and more important nowadays, because in the previous time we used trees in cities to make like pleasant, nice environments, but now we have to deal with climate crisis, and the trees and the greenery in general are really helping us in that. So how do we do it? If we don't do it, we get an urban heat island. It means that the surface level temperature of a city is, say, 2 degrees more or 3 degrees more than the countryside that's surrounding it. But if we implement the blue and green infrastructure, which means we take care of the rainwater, we use it to water the trees, we design the trees in an intelligent way when their like root canals are connected together, then we can get a really nice drop in temperature. It's going to come in handy, I suppose, in the future. So yeah, from the 40s degrees of Celsius back to 26 or 20s, which is much more livable. Like livable in the sense that you can actually walk there or live there. Yeah, so we have these storm green patches where there is some gravel. In the gravel there are some bushes, small bushes, and when there is a surge of stormwater, these areas are able to soak up the excessive water and to keep it in that place. So we are no longer taking the water that falls down from the sky and carrying it away with pipes. We are moving from that. Yeah, but we still live in the city that is the city of our ancestors, the city that that they gave to us, and so some of the trees aren't planted that good. For example, these trees on Smetanovo nábřeží, these are really old lianons, or we can plant a tree in a little concrete box and somehow hope that it will survive. But yes, life will find a way. So life will find a way through the cracks of asphalt, or we can help it out. And if you have like some time after this conference, or even staying longer in Prague, I want you to come to Smetanovo nábřeží and see for yourself, because these trees are there, I think, for 4 years or 5 years, and right now they are looking better, like they are more foliage, bigger overall shape than the trees that are across the street that are there for for decades or that. Yeah, so it's really, yeah, it really speaks for itself. And lastly, I would like to present you some like big important projects that we do in Prague. The first one is Muzejní oáza, it's the area around National Museum in the city of Prague. So right here is the Wenceslav Square, which is currently being remodeled. We are adding a tram line there, which will connect the tram lines from Vinohrady down to Vodičkova station. This will enable us to deal with some hiccups in the traffic when there is a car accident. Nowadays it means that the trams are stopped for 15 or 10 or 20 minutes, but with that new track we can go over there. We are also adding sets of new pedestrian crossing in front of the museum. So we are trying to reduce the impact that the Magistrala, the city highway, is having on the center of city. Yeah, this is how it looks today. And this is just a visualization of the upper half of Wenceslav Square. And I think it's due to be finished in 2027, if everything goes all right. Because right now, for example, they are building a huge reservoir for the rainwater. And they are building it over, I think, a year now. So it's a huge reservoir for all the trees. The next one is Karlovo náměstí. I have shown the examples for Karlovo náměstí here multiple times. We had an international design competition, and this is the design that won the competition. And just to illustrate how hard sometimes is to work in the city, when I talked about the interest, we not only have the interest as an abstract idea. We have institutions and people who represent these interests. So we have the heritage protection, which represents the shape and the image of the city as it used to be. Then we have the traffic police. We have the people who represent the blind and the deaf people. And we have to put them all together around the round table and get some result. And that is also the reason why it takes so long sometimes in Prague. Yeah, and the final quote, I made this quote, so the image and the shape of our cities will define our future. Thank you very much.